who's been screwing with this thing?
Greetings and welcome to episode 79 of the Unnormal Paranormal Podcast. Back with us today is David Oman, filmmaker and owner of the storied Oman House in Beverly Hills, California. More specifically, he's an owner with many silent partners, ones who often take occasion to interact with the more open-minded among us. Abutting the Raw Mountain, a region of intense geomagnetic field deemed sacred by Native American tribes, Dave's Cielo Drive residence also happens to be located within shouting distance of the notorious 1969 murder of pregnant actress Sharon Tate. Stay where you are. We'll be back in a moment with His Omanency, David Oman, owner of the Oman House.
You're listening.
Yeah, like all the time I'm listening.
To the Unnormal Paranormal Podcast. Thanks for listening, and we'll be back in one moment.
Like this really got me in orbit.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of the Unnormal Paranormal Podcast for June 4th, 2017. I'm one of your hosts, James Poston, and with me, as always, is the man who never met a hamburger he didn't like, Jeffrey Chevet.
Hello?
There's Jeff, talking around a mouthful of hamburger. And joining us again is a very dynamic, electrifying fellow that we introduced you folks to about this time last year. He lives in an amazingly, ridiculously haunted house. David Oman of the Oman House, all the way out from Beverly Hills, California, lives 24/7, 365 in what is essentially like Grand Central Station for just about every ghost on the West Coast, Hollywood or not.
It's a stopover.
It is kind of. It's like a ghost B&B.
I like that.
Yeah, right? All he needs is some kind of like paranormal Uber.
As a matter of fact, I have to tell you guys, my next door neighbor at 10,090 just turned his house into an Airbnb. So you can literally spend the night next door at the property right next door to my house that was there during the murders. It's been totally remodeled and upgraded. But
say hi to everybody, Dave.
Airbnb. So we're having a ghost investigation here in 3 weeks on the 24th. People could actually stay next door at the house and come for the ghost investigation on the 24th here and walk next door. He has 6 spots available, so there'll be 6 people that could potentially be going on the ghost hunt and go sleep right next door to my house.
You know, that sounds pretty lucrative. Say hi to everybody, Dave.
Hello, everybody.
It's really great having you back on the show.
I've got to say something. You know, there are all these Paracons. Every single Paracon I have seen, with the exception of 1 or 2 that I've actually been to, and one of them was about 10 years ago at the LAX. I think it was called the New Age Convention or something. And I actually met the one and only famous parapsychologist, James. I forgot. Peter James. That's what it was. Peter James.
Okay.
And I met Peter James, and then there was another Paracon with the Constantinos that was up in, I think it was Las Palmas.
God rest the Constantinos.
Yeah, I mean, I was very good friends with both of them, and they had visited here on 2 occasions and spent the night on a couple of times. And those are the 2 Paracons that have ever been out in the West Coast here.
Yeah, all the rest of them are out here.
All the Paracons are in the East Coast, the Midwest. And, I mean, outside of the fact that I was at Stan Lee's, Shock Fest. No, his Stan Lee's comic, whatever he had.
His kamikaze.
His Monster Palooza, I went to that twice, and I was a speaker there, and we had a great reception. I've never been to any one of the East Coast or invited as a speaker to any one of the East Coast Comic Cons or conventions with the paranormal, and I'm kind of offended by that, honestly. Because I have so many great videos and so many stories and such insight into the paranormal. I mean, obviously, living here is one thing that not many of the speakers can actually talk about. for most part, those speakers are selling books and equipment, and they're paranormal investigators selling their stories and talking about their investigations. It doesn't hold anything, a candle, to living in a place that's as haunted as this place is after 15 years, with all the different shows that have been out here and the shows that want to come out here. It's kind of like, it amazes me that I don't get more East Coast play on it, saying, hey, get Oman on the phone. Let's get him out here for our convention. Let's sit him down and get some videos of him and showing the videos of the stuff in his house and explain what it's like, because he's the only one that actually lives it, not a 6-hour or a 3-hour or 2-hour lockdown story at XYZ location.
Yes.
But somebody who lives it 24/7, 15 years, that's hard to come by.
Around here, it seems to be a lot of the same people revolving.
No, it is pretty much.
They're like a traveling ball team, you know?
I know, and I get kind of boring as hell because I see him on YouTube and I go, I've seen this guy, I've heard this story, I've heard this story, I've heard this story, I've heard this story. It's like watching a comic or watching a band and watching them go on tour. They go on tour, they play the same set from day in, day out. They might have a change in the set, but it's basically the same stories, because how much has changed in 2 days from going from Minneapolis to Philadelphia? Nothing. Nothing has changed. It's the same stories. It gets kind of boring. I don't quite get it. That's just my take on it, you know.
Oh, we can ask around and see if we can put in a word here and there. I mean, like the big ones that usually out here are like Salem Con, Penhurst.
Right.
Penhurst
Exactly.
would be
And last I
great.
checked,
Great. They'd love
they
you.
don't have any speakers going on there talking about real life living in it, not running away from it like Amityville Horror and drama. I live it. I ain't afraid of it. And maybe that's the point that I'm trying to make, more than just, bitch and moan about not being invited to these Comic-Cons, is the fact that in reality, there is nothing scary about living with ghosts. That's the damn truth. I know people want to believe, but I think that people are more predisposed to creating in their mind the drama that takes place, and a lot of what's occurring is happening more in their mind than it's actually taking place in reality, because they're not willing to take a few first level steps to dealing with the paranormal and accepting some baseline principles, and not buying into the myth and the storytelling and the buying into the brainwashing of the television shows and movies that they've seen that make them so fearful of the unknown.
Yes, it does. See, those kinds of strong reactions from stories like that are what sell on television. Most people tend to very easily fear what they do not understand. I mean, there's something going on, you can't see it, but it's moving shit around, making noises. Something's touching you, pushing you, shoving you. You'll hearing voices, scratches on the walls, or you're seeing things out of the corner of your eye at all hours of the day and then looking and finding nothing there. That gets to a person's brain eventually.
Why not call it out instead of being an insulated, inoculated individual? It's like, instead of being a pussy about it, call it out. What I'm saying is I'm going to go to pieces because something's happening around me, and I'm not willing to take control of the situation and have the moment say, saying enough is enough. What do you goddamn want? Can I help you?
I feel this
There's
comes from a
nothing I
lack
can
of...
do for you. Otherwise, will you gosh darn lay off of it and stop it and have some respect? I'm losing my patience having you scratch the wall, bang about, and think you're not getting to me. I hear you. What do you want? And be done with it already. You got my attention. What can I do for you?
Well, let's face
You're
it, it's
trying to
not
make it clear.
exactly a mainstream subject of education.
No. Fear is a mainstream subject of conversation and education in this country. Everything is fear-based. Buy a car because tomorrow it might not be available. The fear that you might miss out on something you don't know about the opportunity of is what this country is based upon. The fear that we're in, such a fear of terrorism requires us to spend more money on defense propositions that don't have any basis. But the idea is if we sell fear, we'll sell you. You don't sell on good things. You sell based on fear. You buy insurance because in case you have an accident, you need your insurance. It's because in case of, and I'm not saying there's anything bad with it, but when you analyze it, This is what George Carlin said 30 years ago in one of his commentary and comedic routines, which was fear sells. The idea that somebody's in peril because they live in a haunted house sells good for television. Why? Because it's good drama. Yep. It sells. Yep. Why haven't you seen me on more TV shows dealing with the paranormal? The answer is because every single one of the shows over the past 15 years that have been out there have gotten in touch with me, or I've gotten in touch with them, and they've said, is there anything that you're afraid of in the house? And it's like, no. It's like, well, we can't help you. I said, why? Because our premise is, and this is 9 times out of 10 with these shows, we need to go into your house and to solve a problem that you're fearful of, you're in jeopardy of. It sells. Dead files. We can't come into your house to investigate because you don't have a problem with the paranormal activity. Ghost Asylum, let's see, the same routine. Let's see, Ghost Lab, the same thing. We can't go in there and solve a problem if you don't have one, and we can't make one up.
Ghost Adventures.
No. Do we really have to talk about the nameless Paris celeb? Really? We all know that Nick was more responsible for creating the show, and Hack Job came in afterwards and was brought in, and the producers looked at him and says, we need somebody to be the lead dog. We need somebody to take the lead that'll be the go boy for us. And Nick was like, he doesn't fit that bill. But if you got Play-Doh and you put him into Johnny Bravo's suit, and he can get and become, and if you've noticed the evolution of Dick Boy, he has evolved into now the possessed paranormal celeb, which I find hysterical since, to be honest with you, I personally don't buy a lot of being possessed, but if it happens on that certain rare occasion, I can almost positively 110% verify that it doesn't happen every day. So the chances that shit is going on and that individual is becoming possessed on every episode is either a miracle that it's happening or it's a hogwash crock of shit. And it's just being done for, as I said, drama, because the fear factor of what could be happening is a great sell, but it doesn't have to be real and true. And the further you can stretch it, the better you can get away with it on that stuff, on that plane of existence. That's great. And it's no sell if it's not scary.
Yeah, that guy has got something going on with him. I don't know what.
Got something going on.
I don't know.
I'll start talking in tongues. Blah, 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 blah. He's got that going on with him. It's called BS in 3 languages. Bull and shit. No, you don't get, again, if it happens, you don't come out of it that fast. It's like, does the guy go into a coma every day that he's on the episode? That's about the likelihood of that, and then comes out of it. Those are the likelihoods of that happening. You're going to be possessed every episode. You have a better chance of having a stroke every episode and coming out of it okay than you do, getting possessed. And I mean, again, if it happens at all, I don't personally believe it. And I've lived here 15 years, and I've heard all about demons and horse talk like that. And I'll be honest with you, I don't buy it. And it's great if you want to sell it. That's great. People write lots of books on it, and people sell lots of devices to play on the hearts and souls of people that are wondering, I can buy this little electronic device that's a radio scanner, and I can talk to ghosts with it.
Unfortunately, the dude sells. He sensationalizes everything. He is.
Look, you're talking in a day and age when the president of the United States has no political expertise and experience, and you're telling me about what sells? I just watched 2 years of a gosh darn political, election, political campaigning. And I saw stuff that I don't believe, that I know isn't true, from personal relatives that have passed away that had personal dealings, as my late uncle who lived in New York, who was a big shot attorney who worked on cases against the businessman Donald Trump in the 70s and the 80s and stuff, and had these. I mean, to me, it's like I'm not surprised by anything that you tell me sells. Look, Ariana Grande is out there, doing a whole big event with all these celebrities. And I said, and who's putting the money in charity and donating? People are. Okay, so these people are just everyday folk. Meantime, the little twerpiness is out there shaking her ass, and all these big celebrities that she's got on there on the stage, they're donating what? 6 hours of their freaking lives to do this event, and everybody's applauding, and I'm the only one on the back line saying, that all is so great. Now, why doesn't she just dip into her bank account and drop $1 million of her own on the people and the charity? Not that it hasn't happened, because if it has, I applaud her for having the sincerity and the integrity of doing it. If she hasn't, what the flying fuck is the problem in doing so? The people died not at the gosh darn frickin', the Kentucky Derby, sweetheart. They died at your concert. It wasn't at the goddamn boxing affair. It wasn't at the gosh darn FIFA World Cup. It was at your concert. If it's lost upon you that you were specifically the target, that you have some degree of responsibility beyond just donating and canceling the rest of your tour and doing that because you're so upset and coming running back to the U.S. and doing that. And then all the poor people that spent good money and bought those tickets, and to other people who bought aftermarket tickets for those events who lost out on that. Yeah. To me, it's like, I don't want to hear the hypocrisy of the celebrity that says that I'm doing this event. It's like, shut the F up and take a bill out of your gosh darn own bank account and show some humility and really do the right thing. That's the right thing to do, is to donate right out of your gosh darn pocketbook. All I hear is celebrities today, except for Bono, and I'm not a big fan of his, but I'll say this for the man. He's got one thing that I believe in that he has. It's a sense of credibility and integrity and honorability. He puts his money where his mouth is. He actually takes his own money and donates it himself, as well as asks others to do so. It's something that's admirable in him, that he really means something, to actually do something the right way.
That's fine. Yeah, your opinions are.
It's not my opinions. It's just a sentiment I have that I see with all of these wonderfully well-to-do, over-the-top, multi-billionaire celebs, including Bieber, and all of them, every single stinking one of them. They could do more and give a little, and it wouldn't hurt them that much. And to be honest with you, being the one that's the top-notch, winner on who's the wealthiest celebrity in Hollywood award per year really doesn't mean shit.
Now going back to the paranormal a second.
Sorry.
No.
For that moment of political, and it wasn't even political sentiment. It was just
things we
common
think about.
sense sentiment that's been just welling up in me while I watch and I see and I wonder and I say. And
I know.
Like, there's a certain sense of humility and a sense of respect and appreciation for the luxury and position you have attained. Leonardo DiCaprio, he's doing something, and I do believe he's got his heart in the right place, and he does care, and he's not, I think he's got a little bit more on the ball because he does put his ass on the line out there and does have a political awareness about, whether you like it or not, let's get this straight. He at least puts his money where his mouth is, and he has a little integrity to that.
Yeah.
And, he believes in his cause and he's supporting it. And I think that that's something. So, all right, back to the paranormal. What we had last night, an example. I had some people here from Hollywood. I had my friend Henry Penzi, who is from Entourage and worked for many years with Mark Wahlberg, who's a producer, who's doing his own shows. He brought some celebrated friends of his, one of which I didn't know these people when they came in, but I gave Henry a tongue lashing like, all right, you're 3.5 hours late. The party started at 7. You're here at 10:30. The ribs are going cold. Not only did you only bring, you came late, but you brought 3 guys and 1 girl, and you brought a bottle of booze between the 5 of you. I said, you really got some nerve, Henry. I said, every party I tell you, bring some more friends, bring more girls than guys. I said, we were joking. And his friends were like affrontedly upset with me. And I was like, well, I'd rather speak the truth and let him know when he comes in than do the polite Hollywood thing of, oh, it's so nice to see you. oh, I'm so glad to see him. Glad you made it. And then take him aside and go, what the flying fuck? And then people in the party going, what the hell is that? I hear that from the other floor.
Now that's one time you should train your ghosts to scare somebody.
They got scared. That's what I was going to get to. So after they got in the house, because I talked to him today and I said, my friends were not too happy with the way you treated me when I came and you were really dissing me. And it's like, well, you're 3.5 hours late. First of all, you son of a bitch. That's something I don't stand for. I said, secondly, I asked you to bring two guy friends and like 3 girlfriends. Instead, you brought 4 guy friends and 1 girl. I said, that's really not a good mix for the party.
That's how pornos get started.
Exactly. I said, you want to talk about something that could happen? I said, it could be made into a tape. Then do that your place. But I said, don't do that shit.
But, or just 4 women.
But here's the truth. I mean, here's the thing. I'd rather be upfront with my friends at the moment when I feel the momentary flash of, well, let me just call myself, I'm being very presidential. Okay? I'm tweeting from the hip. My point is I'd rather be very open, and somebody that I've known for 7 years, I think I can be upfront and honest with. And if by this time he doesn't know that I'm very direct, that's what I was. I was very straightforward, direct with him. I said it. His friends be damned. And it turns out one of the guys is like a 3-time Emmy award-winning producer, has a show on Amazon or on Netflix. The other guy's an actor, is of some substance. The girl is some hotshot event planner. And I'm like, later on, I find this out. And I said, I didn't have a chance to say, look, I apologize for how I treated Henry when he came in. But I feel that the time to call somebody out on something is the moment it happens, not to wait till later, because I don't believe in letting things build up at the pee at the bottom of 100 mattresses and later on getting all explosive. I said I just let my steam out in a very, very calculated, humorous way, but it was very direct and pointed to him. And he takes them downstairs. He said, Henry, where the hell are you going? I was, I'm taking him for a tour of the house. He said, Henry, is it your house? Or is it my house? Is this my party?
Owner.
And are you late to my barbecue, Henry? So I said, table your gosh darn ass, have something to eat, and I'll take them for a tour. He got all upset, and he's like, because he's a producer. I said, Henry, I'll take him down. I said, just sit down. I said, don't rush. Let's eat. Because there were 10 people downstairs doing a seance as it was. And I didn't want him to go stumbling in there and to freak them out. It was, they went down there without me, and they stumbled upon the seance of the 10 people. Oh, we're going to do ghost hunting in a seance. And it's like, this is my barbecue. This is not a ghost investigation. But I can't stop you. So go the fuck downstairs and take care of yourselves. Go.
But aren't rude.
But aren't
so they stumbled in on they stumbled in on the gosh darn seance.
Was there
and they had their K2 meters and their REM pods. And the girl, this hotshot princess, as she called herself, Treva, freaked out. She came running up the stairs with her eyes bulging, like wide open, going, I'm not going down there. I think that freaked me out. Oh my God. I don't want to go in this. I don't want to be in there.
Basement.
I started laughing so hard. I said, what the hell happened? She goes, we opened the door. It's pitch black in there. There's some lights going off and there's some meters and there's 10 people. We can see the outline of 10 silhouette of 10 people sitting in a circle on the floor.
I would have shit
and it freaked us out. And I said, I told you.
I would have laughed so hard. I actually shit my pants.
I started laughing.
God.
I said, you've got to be kidding. I said, they're doing a ghost investigation. They decided to split off from the people from the barbecue and wanted to go downstairs. I said, I told you not to go down there. Now you'll listen to me.
You know what? Honestly, every last one of them got exactly what they deserved. You should have stayed upstairs and had a burger.
Exactly. I made my famous baby back ribs that were marinating overnight for 24 hours. So
wow.
Everybody else was
prioritize,
on that.
Man. Food.
I used my Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce that I got at Costco. I hope that's enough plugs for you too.
Sweet
Because
Baby
usually I
Ray's
use
awesome.
Bullseye. There's another plug for Bullseye.
Yeah.
I didn't get my not Uncle Ben's, but those bush baked beans this time. Score one for you guys. But they were great. It was. I actually added honey to the barbecue sauce, and they were delicious. So it was
Now
like,
we're
Henry,
cooking
stop
show.
it. No, we want to go
getting gassed
downstairs. We
just
want
thinking
to in the
about it.
house. And I said, fine. And I got just so upset when they came upstairs, and she was just like panic stricken. I was like, I don't want to. I'm gonna do it. I said, I told you, you got to let
Dude,
me
we
show
gotta
you
get
the
out
gosh
there.
darn house. So I took them for the tour, and they had fun. And I showed them the room, and she goes, "No, I feel energy in here. I definitely feel." I said, "Yeah, it's definitely got energy, but that's
We
nothing
absolutely
bad."
have got to get out to the West Coast sometime and go crash at Dave's for a week.
A week.
You'd take us for a month and you know it.
You can kiss my ass and stay next door at the Airbnb now that I've got one.
Dude, you'd
Don't
take us
make
for a
him
month
money.
and you know it.
Freeloading at Dave's house for a month. It's like, what?
What's that? Fish and relatives smell after 3 days?
Oh, it would smell after 3 days. I got news for you. I'll send the cats in there. Don't make it smell worse. You'll be begging to get out of here. I'll lock the door from the outside and put a padlock on it. Say, yeah, fuck you. You got your week in the house with the damn cat in there now. Enjoy the pee. He'll make you feel really happy. No,
everybody's always telling
hey,
us,
Tommy,
it's
we're
like,
the
come out to the West
kitties.
Coast.
Tommy,
Come out to
Terry.
the West Coast. It's like, A, how the hell are we supposed to get to the West Coast? B, where the hell are we going to stay?
Well, you can always take a bus or a train. It's cheaper than flying.
I do
And then
love
again, it might be
Greyhound.
cheap enough to fly. We can go really cheaply.
I do love Greyhound, except it'd take like an actual week for us to get out there.
Would we stop in Minnesota to pick up Rhonda?
Probably.
Who's Rhonda?
Rhonda.
Yeah, she's one of our
Oh,
co-hosts.
God.
You
Yeah.
met, did you, oh wait, Rhonda's never
No,
got to talk to
Rhonda
Dave.
was not on the last David Omen episode.
Yeah, Rhonda was.
Da-da-da.
Oh,
Da-da.
you guys, you'd love each other or hate each other, but it'd be amazing.
I do love each other.
I said you
love
two would
Hill.
love each other or hate each other. It'd be amazing.
Be
she'd
amazing.
love
Okay. I've
Rhonda
heard that
in the
before.
room with the
Never,
cats.
never measured up to that, but okay.
Rhonda is absolutely delightful.
She's delightful. How lovely.
And she has a cat.
She has a cat.
It looks like a basset hound, but it's a cat.
She's like 30
It
pounds
looks
of
like a
freaking
basset
cat.
hound. That's interesting.
This is like 30 pounds of cat.
Oh, Jesus Christ. What is it, a Mancoon?
Oh, you don't know. Fatty cat.
Fatty fat cat. That's
Yeah,
not
but he's
good.
a good boy. He's a good boy.
Yeah. Now, it seems to me like you don't really have to give ghost tours yourself. Do these ghosts interact with you every day?
They go just, whoa,
Yes.
okay. What the hell do you mean by that? I don't have to watch people walk through my house and scuff and take things. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, that's an idea.
It's nice to
Things
do
have
that.
a way of look, when Lindsay Lohan was here, Five Finger Louie took off with a gosh darn 5x7 photo of Sharon Tate,
What?
the little
What?
tramp.
Get
Yeah.
out.
How? She took it. She
Really?
saw it and she took it. She ended up walking out with it.
Wow.
Yeah, that was
That's-
that was curiously enough, that was the same night she got popped, that Wednesday night that she got popped for the taking the necklace in Venice Beach at the jewelry store.
I never liked her anyways.
Yeah, I wasn't
Wow,
after she
damn.
came here. I certainly am not a fan and couldn't give a rat's butt what happens to her.
Did you at least get the photo back?
No,
That's
Nope.
shitty.
She could have
nope, and
given
I
you
didn't even
something
take any
return
pictures
for it.
with her here.
Wow.
I didn't even want to. I was like so offended by her presence. I was like, "Are you serious? Take a picture with it? No, thank you.
Why would you?
I don't need that. I don't need this
How-
as a
how did
photo.
she-
I don't need this to be a Kodak moment I can share and was it share and cherish forever? Not even.
I don't even know how she wound up in your home in the first place.
A friend of mine who's a producer called me up at 5:00 when the news was on about her and the breaking story on Wednesday night in mid-March about her stealing the necklace. And a friend of mine who's a producer called me up and says, "Oh, I was hanging out last night with Lilo." And it's like, "What's a Lilo? You mean Lilo and Stitch?"
Yeah, right.
And he goes, "No, you idiot." I go, "Lilo." And it's like, "You said it twice. You said it with an attitude the second time. I have no clue what that is, a Lilo, okay?" He goes, "Lindsay Lohan." And I'm like,
Who?
I said, "Oh, that's funny." I said, "You've got to be kidding." I said, "I'm watching television right now, and lo and behold, there she is on the television. And how funny it is, she's being reported for stealing a necklace in Venice Beach." And he goes, "Oh, I don't know about that, because let's not talk about that. my friend's a Texas film producer, television producer. And he goes, look, she wants to come over and see your house. I was hanging out with her last night. I said, and how did my name get mentioned? And how is it that my house got? Well, she's up for a movie role of playing Sharon Tate in a biopic about her life. And it's supposed to be that she's up for the role, and it's the lead. And it's like, when she's supposed to, yeah, she's very interested. I was hanging out with her last night, and your name came up, and she said, oh, I saw him on Ghost Adventures, on Ghost Hunters, and all these shows, and I want to go up there and see her. So we're coming up tonight. I'm going, what? You're coming up tonight? He goes, oh, yeah, we're going to come up around 8 o'clock.
Just they are doing it, not, do you mind if we come over? Do you mind if we drop in?
But what was she like?
I have to admit, I don't get starstruck. I've been raised and around producers and directors and actors and celebrities all my life. There are a few people that I find, I will get like, wow, I said, to meet that person, oh, that would be fun. I mean, I get a little like, not butterflies in my stomach. It's like, oh, I'd like to meet them. Certain people, it's like, it's like, yeah, I'd love to meet that person, just because you identify them with certain roles that they have played, right? And you've seen them. You go, I'd like. So that'd be kind of cool to hang out with her, But again, that is your perception of what you think they are from what you see in that TV role or that film role.
I'd be more excited to meet Mark Wahlberg.
Maybe not.
Anyways, go on.
I have friends that work and have worked for him directly, and I just have my own. I have a different, again, POV than most people. So him to me, it's like, okay, whatever. I'm not that. It's not one of the people I would be interested in meeting if I had the chance. No big deal. But Lindsay was like, it'd be kind of cool to meet her. It's like, crazy chick hangs with Charlie Sheen, whatever. And it's like, all right, let's see what this is. So I got all excited.
Did she live up to her billing?
I'm like cleaning the house up going, oh my God. It's like, this is how I was like, oh my, this is so fucking crazy. I said, and I'm thinking this could be good. Who the hell knows who she knows who might be interested in seeing the house, blah, 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 blah.
I can understand that.
And I'm like, all like giddy. I am seriously giddy. And I'll never forget. I was all jazzed, like, going, I can't believe we got Lindsay. This is too fucking crazy. This could be fun. This could be interesting. Who the fuck knows? Knock at the door at 8:05. I open the door, and there's my friend, and there's Lindsay. And I'm like all jazzed up. I open the door, and I'll never forget. I saw her, and it was almost like all the air was deflated out of my tires at the same. It's just like, psst.
No makeup,
and all that excitement that I was literally, and the anticipation and all that, just like that energy that was just right there seconds before I opened the door.
What?
I went from the highest high to the lowest of, okay. And I don't know what it was. A lot of people don't believe in energy or in auras or in.
We do.
We absolutely do.
I know you do. God damn it. Don't be so vain. I said there are people. I didn't say you two numbnuts. Come on, give yourself some credit, or give me some credit. I know who I'm talking to, but there's certain people that you have to explain this to that don't understand what this means, but they can relate to this sentiment, and that is this. There's sometimes when you meet somebody and you're like, your anticipation is so great, and then you meet them and it's like you don't know what it is, but there's just something that's just how should I say? There's like a void, a vacancy, a vacuum. Immediately, like you walk in the vacuum, so everything's like sucked right out of you, and you're just like, I don't know what it was, but I just feel like energetically, like I'm just drained. In other words, would be like an energy vampire, but it wasn't an energy vampire. It was just a depressing vampire. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I mean, I was overwrought with this sense of just like, oh, really? It's almost like coming up on having a bad orgasm, if there is such a thing. And I'm sure there is, and I'm sure I could probably remember one or two that I had.
If it's bad, was it an orgasm? Let's be honest.
Say what?
If it's bad, was it really an orgasm?
Yeah, I remember my prom was an example of a bad orgasm. My date said I want you to know this means absolutely nothing to me. And I was like, Oh, great. There you
Ouch.
go. If I do,
Oh, boy.
I really don't really give a rat's ass because that just took all the air out of my tires. So there's an example of a bad orgasm. I think you can relate.
None of my problems were great.
My point is it was just like, and it just went down from there. It was like it started at the bottom and it just kept going down into the bowels of hell. She was like, "Oh, you're smoking pot," and it's like, I said, "So my friend's smoking some pot. He's got fucking glaucoma. He's got problems, and he has what is it, my friend? He's got Addison's disease, and it helps keep his condition in check." And I said, "Oh, that's okay, Lindsay." I said, "The Colombian Coke dealer will be here in an hour and a half, in an hour or so, with a key on a silver platter for you." And she's and just stormed off onto the balcony. And I said to her brother, who was there, I said, "Is she always like this?" And he looked at me. She goes, "No, she's just been having a rough day." I said, "Oh, that's right. She got popped for stealing the necklace." And a few hours ago, and I thought to myself, yeah, that might have something to do with why she's bitchy. I said,
Possibly.
but that's no excuse for bringing that shit and her garbage in a bag and her attitude into my house when she's coming here to have a moment in my house with me. There's no excuse for it. First of all, she brought it upon herself. She did it to herself. So for her not to think that, God, there's a possibility she's going to get popped for shoplifting. She's what? She Winona Ryder? Even Winona Ryder got popped 30 years ago for shoplifting. I don't get why Lindsay thinks that she shouldn't take it on the chin and accept that she did it. She got popped for it, and that's it. But then to come to my house when she's so excited about seeing and being close proximity to Sharon Tate, as she expressed when she was here, I don't get why she's going to piss all over me and bring her attitude and make everybody else feel like put off by it. But that was the whole night. We went downstairs and we were watching videos of some of the shows I've been on and in the theater room. And what's funny is that she goes, "Oh, somebody likes seeing themselves on television." And I swear to God, this is like 4 hours into her visit. I swear to God, I beamed her look and I was about to say, and I could have said, it's like, I said, "What?" I said, "You think this is the news?" I said, "This is better than being on the nightly news 5 hours ago, honey."
Oh boy.
I mean, I threw it, and then I hear the spirit say, "Don't do it." Like think, don't tweet, don't act impulsively. You could be making a big mess at the wrong time with the wrong person. Don't do it. Have some class and don't go to those levels of being an idiot. So I didn't. I just looked at her with this look like, you've got to be kidding. So we were passing around this McGuffey reader, which is a 4 or 5 year old kid's book on first grade reading book. See Jane run, fast.
Yeah.
See Spot run. See
Don't
Spot
tell me the
and
ending.
Jane run. That kind of book. And it was from Sharon Tate's mom. I mean, Sharon Tate to Sharon Tate's younger sister, Patty. And inscribed in it, it says, "To Patty, happy birthday, Sharon Tate." Well, there was a note inside of this little book that's on a 4-inch by 6-inch, maybe it's a 3 by 5-inch piece of scrap paper that's written, and it's inscribed from Sharon to her mom. And I was passing it around the group of people that were there on the couches, and it got to Lindsay, and I saw it was handed to Lindsay, and Lindsay was the last one to hand me back the book. So she hands me back the little book, and I looked and opened the book up because I was like tapped in the shoulder by a spirit who said, "Look in the book, look in the book." So I opened the book up where the note had been, and the note's now gone. So I looked and I thought the last person who I saw who had the book, who gave me back the book, was Lindsay. So I look and I say, "Lindsay, can I have the note back?" And she goes, "What note?" And she's totally playing it like it's like she's honestly, truthfully doesn't believe she has the note. And I looked at her, and Sharon said, she goes, "Look under her, look at her thigh. You can see it." So I looked closely. I was like 10 feet away from Lindsay, and I could see under her thigh, she was wearing a skirt, a mini skirt. There was this piece of plastic that I could see the light glinting on. And I said, "Lindsay," I said, under your thigh. I said, the note that's sitting under your thigh. So she lifts her thigh up and pulls the note out and says, I want it.
Wow.
Ooh.
And I said, Lindsay, I said, you can't. I said, you can't. She goes, I'll pay for it right now. And I heard a voice in my head, tell her it's $1,000. I said $1,000 then. So she then started rifling through her purse and she pulls out, literally her left hand has got crumpled couple $100 bills sticking out between her fingers in this claw-like hand.
Good God.
And I'm like, I said, she goes, well, I have this much. I said, well, how much is that much? I said 1,000 for a reason. And she starts counting the $100 bills that she's grabbed. It's like she doesn't have a wallet. There's just $100 bills in her purse at the bottom of the purse. I'm like going, okay, kid, this is really psycho. So she gets like, I have $600. I said, no. I said 1,000, and that's what I said. And I guess the reason why Sharon said 1,000 was because she knew that Lindsay didn't have it. And then she goes, I'll pay you for it. I said, no, Lindsay. I said 1,000 is what it was. I said, look, I have an idea, and I'm trying to cook up for a TV show that has celebrities that will be coming on it. And I said, I'd be happy to give you the note if I could have you on the show as a guest.
Mm-hmm.
And
fair enough.
And Lindsay said to me, fat chance in hell. And I said, and I then grabbed the note from her out of her hand. I literally snatched it out of her hand. I said, well, then, I guess you won't be seeing this then ever in the future. And that was it. Wow. I was like, the audacity. It's like, I'll pay you 1,000, but I won't be on your show with the barrel. I was like, honey, you ain't scratching the bottom of the barrel. You ain't even inside the barrel to be construed as being in the bottom of the barrel to begin with. So you're telling me that my offering you a possibility, and who knew, I could have possibly said, look, I with your name, I could put you on as executive producer if that's worth $1 and try to, but I don't think it would have been, but but that's the kind of response I got from her. I said, I'd give her the thing that I was going to, as well as pay her for it. That's what she responds with. I was like, holy son of a bitch. Unbelievable.
What's unbelievable to me, what is always amazing, every time you mention it. What the hell was that?
It's me scratching my itchy throat.
Okay. What gets me every time you talk about it is exactly.
Yeah, you funny one, motherfucker. Yeah, what can I do for you? Nice. White women.
We're going to hell.
I don't know where I'm going
to hell for this.
Where the hell are you going, bastard? Fuck.
Anyways, like I was trying to say now, what always gets me every time is the way the spirits in the house so actively and willingly and just organically get along with you. They reach out and they touch you. They whisper in your ears. They tell you things, and they are always right pertaining to
that's something I have to say honestly. That's just, I don't want to say dumb luck.
I don't know, man. You're like completely in sync with your own person.
I don't in sync. I mean, as I like to say, the house is its own dynamic. I just happened to be the one that was part and parcel to building it with my father, and I spent many days on the property for 3.5 years. But I don't know about in sync. I think that's just a matter of personality. I mean, you are who you are wherever you go, in theory and in practice. And as such, it wouldn't matter where I go. Spirits, and I think that's for a lot of people. If you have self-respect and you have respect and you have an open mind, you as well can have that relationship. And I think that's, I don't want to say it's overstated, and I don't like to minimize myself or minimize what I experience here, my personal life to other people that want to believe that. I just think that everything aligned in such a way that I benefited from a lot of different things in my life and my growing up and then building the house. And that that if it wasn't for that, none of this would happen. If it wasn't for the fact that my dad found the lot and I wasn't in this house and somebody else was here, I don't think that would be the same. I think it'd be a different setup. It would be a different dynamic for the person that lived here, good or bad, whether or not they got along with it. I think that it's just, how should I say, I don't like putting myself on a pedestal like a lot of people do and laying claim like, I'm the Hollywood ghost hunter. I'm not. I think that it's just dumb luck. That is just the way I perceive things and experience things and don't allow things to affect me. And I think that there are a lot of people out there that are the same way, that don't have the opportunity, the exposure to do to have as much exposure as I have been afforded with this house and the luck that I've had.
It's just amazing the way.
Oh, amazing! I like
amazing.
That. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
It's amazing. It's not amazing. It's amazing.
It's omanazing.
Yeah.
OMANINIZ.
But you in that house, man. I mean, for a spirit to lean over and whisper to you, she's got the note. She's got the note under her thigh. Tell her you want $1,000 for it.
But again, think about it. Think about what that was to her. That was something that was special to Sharon.
Yeah.
That still remains in this physical plane of existence.
Yes.
That's in this house. That's why she didn't want that to go anywhere, because the story behind that was this woman was selling it on eBay, the book on eBay. And I said, why did Sharon Tate sign it Sharon Tate? And then I looked up a bunch of stuff, and Sharon was practicing her name, Sharon Tate, over and over when she was younger all the time because she wanted to be a star. So when I talked to the woman, she goes, this belongs to you. And I said, why? And we just, because you live where you live. And I think that she sent it to me for free. She wanted $1,000 and the note was in there. And I'm sure she knew the note was in there, but she wanted me to have it. And the fact that, how should we say, that it ended up in my hands, I think Sharon was wanted that to be here because it's the closest physical connection that I have to her on this plane of existence since she's passed away and I never met her.
It's remarkable.
And it was something to the effect of it was really personal to her.
But do you think that anybody else would have heard Sharon if it was indeed Miss Tate herself speaking to you?
If somebody else was there that had the omnipresence and the connectivity with the spirits, I'd have to say, yeah, they probably would have heard, somebody else would have chimed in. However, no one else was there that could have, so I was the only one that had to be put on the spot.
Do you have any? It's pretty incredible.
Wait. The follow-up is that when I was passing around the photographs that I had from the LA Times photo archives, including a 5x7 publicity shot of Sharon, went missing after that. That night it went. That night it went. Who else would have taken it? But Ms. Lohan. Yeah. Pretty much. It's really, not depressing. It's not surprising. It's just
disappointing.
Sad. It's just sad for her that she had to do that. That she couldn't have spent $10 and gone on eBay and gotten it herself. Because it's not like the photograph was from 1969. The photograph or 68, it was a print from a negative from 1968, which, God forbid, you can pick those up on eBay. So the fact that she had to take it from me, when she came to the front door and I looked at her, I felt like I was looking at an empty shell of a human being. The reason why, when I said the air went out of my chest, it's like she was just void of energy. It was just like a canyon of
might well be.
Abyss. And there's
a very good likelihood of that.
There was just nothing there to like say, it's very nice to meet you. And at the end of the night, what's funny is she goes, after we had this, interaction, she goes, oh, it was such a pleasure to meet you. And I thought to myself, oh my God.
What did she do?
She's acting. No, she went to the acting. She went to, it was she was like, oh, it was such a pleasure to meet you and had such a great night tonight. And I can't tell you. I was like, you feign humility and your acting is, if I wasn't sensitive, and God knows I'm very sensitive, it just kills me. every time I put my boxers on, I just wonder, it's like, God, Brees is so much tighter. I'm just so sensitive. I like being held in the right place. But in any event, my point is that I was like so taken aback at that moment. I thought to myself, how fucking dare you pull that paltry, horrible expression of an act upon my doorstep, upon me. I was so affronted by it. I was like, and then the spirit in me goes, don't be high and mighty. Humility shall save the day, and you should be humble because that's who she is. As my mother said when I was a kid, sometimes you gotta accept people as how they are and not call them on their shit, because it's going to do more damage if you make a scene by doing it, and it's not going to be of any benefit. And if you at least smile and bite your lip and give them the cordiality, they might buy into it and believe it and take it away that you're really a wonderful person, how much of a wonderful time they left with, they had, because the last thing they'll remember is the way it was when they left. And that's the last thing they're going to remember from the house and their visit. So I sat there and said, it was a pleasure meeting you too. So I went to the same exact place in bullshit and was as frankly as full of shit as she was. With a smile, my mom used to say, kill your enemies with a smile. No, never tell them how you feel. They'll only use it against you, which I don't seem to, I should say, benefit from that sentiment that my mother used to express.
There it is.
Crikey, it's starting to come through the mixer.
Oh, up your ass.
Oh, goodness.
There it is.
We had to fill in the dead spirit. The dead air was something,
I had a
didn't we?
feeling it was coming.
The dead spirit, what are you, redundant or retarded? Jeez, if you are, that's okay. We're all a little retarded in our own way.
There must be something wrong with me some days. I look around at what's going on around me. It's like, why am I stuck where I am?
You are not stuck. You have a pair of feet and a brain and a pair of arms. At any point, you have the capability to decide that you want to make a change. You just have to make a change and put a focus on it and do it. You're not stuck. Even the person that's paralyzed from the neck down isn't stuck when he makes his mind up to do something. And I've seen people like Christopher Reeves move mountains before he died. Hardly a man who was stuck that most people said was stuck.
He makes a point. Well, even the dead aren't completely stuck
No,
these
they're
days,
not.
it seems. If I die in the next 6 months, I'm either haunting Jeff or haunting you.
You have no control over what you can do.
So if I come down here and I smell something like sulfur, it's you, James?
That's probably you.
I think we got that cleared
What are we
out of the
looking at? What are we looking at coming up here for like the rest of the year for the Oman House? What else we got? You keep talking about this thing you got going on 2 weeks or 3 weeks from yesterday or something like that.
3 weeks from last night, I'm doing a paranormal investigation here at the Oman House. Actually, I'm doing a ghost hunt. Haven't done one in 10 months. You remember the last one was on August 6th, around the anniversary of the murders.
Yes.
Any celebs going?
Not that I know of. Yeah, Sharon Tate.
I was thinking maybe Lindsay.
Oh, yeah, right. I think she's in Saudi Arabia with her husband.
No. I think Winona Ryder would have been a lot more fun to have over.
You know, the difference here, though, is I think Winona Ryder actually handled her arrest a little bit more gracefully.
Don't you remember Winona got popped like 2 or 3 times?
I thought it was just a once.
There was more than one time she got popped.
Huh.
I mean, I don't want to rain down on Winona Ryder's, parade now that she's whatever. But yeah, let me just double check Winona Ryder's arrest record.
To the internet.
Well, the hell, why not? Winona Ryder, shoplifting arrest wasn't a crime of the century, it says. Great. You're right, it was just one time, apparently.
Okay, I thought so.
With her career getting back on track after several years of self-imposed exile, Winona Ryder is talking for the first time about December 1st arrest. You're right, it's one time. You're right, one time. Christ, you know something? Let's do this right now. We're on Facebook. Let's get in touch with Winona and ask if she wants to come up.
I don't have that kind of contact with her.
Why not? You should work on that.
I'm getting better connected, but Oh, she probably doesn't
We're a
handle her own.
paranormal show. I mean, she did
Yeah,
Beetlejuice.
that's exactly.
We have some
She did?
commonality. Yeah, we have commonality with her.
She did a paranormal show on what?
No, we're a paranormal show.
Yeah, we're a paranormal show. Well, ostensibly, and she
Really?
did Beetlejuice.
I didn't know you were a paranormal
She
show. I
did
thought
do
you were talk
Beetlejuice.
radio.
Actually, that would be a pretty interesting premise for a show. Getting Winona Ryder and Michael Keaton. What's Michael Keaton on?
I don't think Michael. Well, Michael's
He
doing
was
what?
Beetlejuice.
He was Beetlejuice. Get them on and have them talk about fucking Beetlejuice.
Oh, talking about Beetlejuice, are you?
Exactly.
We can
Boy,
do an
Excuse me there. Yep. Oh, well, I survived the purge. I said to survive the dead files, and still am here kicking you in the ass. Now, what the hell are we going to do tonight? We're going to take Winona Ryder out for a ride. Interesting. Uh-huh. Well, when are we going to get Michael over here then? I don't know if he's intrigued by the paranormal, though. Do you think he is?
His career
He's not weird enough.
Has been coming back to life more steadily.
Well, they're remaking Beetlejuice, I heard, and I heard he's
They're doing
back
a second
in
one.
the title role.
I heard it was the second one. Like they're
Right,
bringing
well-
him back to do it again.
Right, and
Really?
I assume Winona's going to be in it as well.
That'd be pretty cool.
The old wise Beetlejuice.
Oh, there you go. Why not?
No, he won't. Michael Keaton's losing his fucking mind, and it's been amazing for his career. I saw
What?
Birdman was awesome.
I didn't see Birdman.
It was actually worth watching.
Birdman!
Different Birdman.
That's not funny. I like Birdman. I like Harvey Birdman, attorney at law.
Exactly. Him, Space Ghost, Coast to Coast, The Brad
You best
Show.
your ass. Besting your ass with Space Ghost. Well, hi, kids. It's Space Ghost. Dirty bastard I am. I'm not. I'm Gorf. I am Gorf. That's right. I am Gorf, your friend, Gorf. Yeah. So what are we going to do? We're going to watch that Somebody's Show tonight, kids. Alrighty then. So, I'm Normal. We're interviewing the Omen tonight. He's being his usual amazing and awesome self. I have to love that Twitter.
Oh,
Yes.
you see that? Yep, I
But
put it up.
no, I'm psychically reading what you just tweeted through my memory glands. Is that mammary glands? Well, my mammary glands are getting all flush. Jesus Christ.
Hey, people really did like your interview last year, and people are gonna love this one.
They'll love it because it's fun, because I'm an ass.
Yes.
Woo! Yes, I
Well,
am.
yeah, so are we.
No. You can't take my thunder. You can find your own thunder and fight along all you like and light them on fire. That's my thunder. Okay? Don't steal my throne. Don't touch my crown. Don't mess with my goddamn staff. Goddamn it.
Did he
I
get
get
spoiled
my
by
big-
that?
On your ass and kick your mother ass around the world next time around. You come here, you're going to get stomped on by my big toe. Ha 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 ha.
I need to get some of whatever you're smoking, man. Jesus,
You don't get it. I am like this without smoke or no.
I believe you.
See, the reason why the spirits like me so much is because on the other side of the plane of existence, unlike similar to what they have in the UK, where they have 4 channels of television in the UK, on the other side there are 2 channels. There's Channel O, which is my channel, and there's Channel Z, which is pretty goddamn boring and all GOP. So the spirits kind of like tune into the House of O for 24/7, 365 entertainment. So therefore, I am entertaining to this plane of existence as well as to the other plane of existence. And I also know this for a fact because Lisa Williams was here some 10 years ago, the famous English psychic who had the TV show on.
Yeah.
She came here after the Ghosted Hunters show, and she goes, I want to come to see your house. I said, I'm so curious because I have to see it. I said, okay, Lisa, if you want to see the house, you can come and see it. I said, but there's one provision. You may not bring your cameraman, you may not bring your camera crew, and you may not shoot anything for your show that you're doing now. I said, but you can come out and check it out for yourself. So she came in. She goes into the house, like 20 feet, stops at the top of the dining room leading into the living room, 2 steps down, and she takes a look into the bar area, and she looks and she goes, do you know you have a big party over in your bar? And I'm gazing in there with my eyes, I'm squinting, and I say, I see nothing. And I go, I don't see anything, Lisa. And she goes, well, I'm telling you that there's Sharon Tate and Jay Sebring and there's also some Native Americans that are over there. I see Rudolph Valentino and some other people I don't recognize, but they are all turning to me and telling me that they all want me to tell you that they really appreciate you allowing them to stay here and hang here.
And how did that make you feel?
And I looked at her and my jaw kind of slacked, and I looked at her and I said, and I thought back to the photos that I'd seen of, the murder victims of Sharon and the, what happened down the street a few years earlier, because I went to the LAPD. I was going to write a book about my house, and I wanted to see if there were any pictures of anything on the property, maybe that there was left, like a knife or some bloody gloves or something was left on the side of the hill where my house now stands. And it was insane looking at those photographs in the locked LAPD archives. And as a matter of fact, I'm right now writing the book. I have to get myself back to motivation levels to sit down and finish the book. But I'm actually working on that biography about my story of the house and whatnot. And what's interesting is she says, I thought to myself, all the people that died, beyond Sharon and Jay and the rest of the people at the end of the street, which were horrible deaths. I mean, just gruesome. You put yourself in their shoes and thinking about your last moments alive. It's absolutely terrifying. And then just other people in general that have died, and I put myself in their shoes thinking, we're all going to die at some point. No one lives forever. So why do I have to have the exclusive on saying to somebody, if you're dead, you can't stay here and hang out here? And I thought to her for a minute, I said, look, if they're dead, they're here. That's okay. It doesn't bother me. Some point I might be dead, or when I'm dead, I don't want somebody to kick me around like I'm a can. So I said, look, I said, tell them that I saw the pictures of how Sharon and the others died, and I don't want to add to anybody's misery. And it doesn't make me a better person by pissing on their deaths and their demise. So it's like, no, by all means. I said, I appreciate it. I said, I'm very happy that they find comfort here and hanging out here. I said, it makes me feel good. I said, I appreciate it. I mean, because that's the kind of person I am. It's like, when I have my friends that come in, it's like, oh, David, I need to play. All right, fine. Here, all right, fine. You're good. That's just the way it's my mother taught me when I was a kid, or I learned as a kid. Treat others how you want to be treated, because you might yourself find yourself in that person's shoes, and you'd hope to God that you've met somebody that was in a position to help you out in any way, shape, or form. It's that simple. And that's how I treat it. It's like, dead or alive, a person is a person. And treating somebody with respect until they show you otherwise is how you treat somebody. You don't, until somebody tweaks your nose, you don't tweak theirs. You don't go out there and start tweaking people's noses because you think you're better than them and you think you have the power and the ability to be that way. That's not how life works.
That's why we like you, Dave. You're a good man.
Yeah.
Conversation is exciting, very, very charging.
Yeah, well, I think you said I have a very electric personality.
Very much, sir. Very much.
I thought it was eclectic, but I'll go with electric. I have a very nuclear personality. Well, there are a lot of electrifying men in the paranormal community. You know that, don't you?
Yes, but you're definitely up there.
There's quite a bit of eclectic community in the paranormal on the other side, too, Paul Lynn says. Oh, boy. Let's not get into it, boys. There's things you've never seen. God knows you don't want to until you die. I have to admit that I had the best time of my life hanging out with Elizabeth Montgomery. She was such a doll to work with on that show. God. I missed the fucking Hollywood squares. But honestly, I much preferred working with Elizabeth on that show. And a side note, I actually did meet Elizabeth Montgomery at a party. It's got to be it's before I lived in the house. I had the opportunity of being at a Hollywood party, and Elizabeth was there. And it's one thing to be at a party with people. I was like, oh, I met such and such. I took a picture. Yeah, big fucking deal. It's another thing to sit down and actually talk with that person. Not about their celebrity and about, how much of a fan you are and oh my God. But to literally talk brass tacks and to get a slice of their personality and their real person, and not have them try to sell you about their latest, or them try to sell you about what you can do for them if you have a part in a role in the script or whatever, but to really get to meet them, to talk to them. And I've been fortunate in a number of different occasions in my lifetime to have met some really well-known, celebrated, and once upon a time celebrated people of celebrity, of sports and celebrity. And when I met, what was it? Who we just
Elizabeth Montgomery. Mm-hmm.
It was like, I was fucking dumbstruck, because it's Samantha from Be Fucking Witched. We all saw her in the reruns.
Mm-hmm.
And I was at this party, and I was talking to somebody, and she came up talking to him, and he's a celebrity, but I've known him for years, and I give a rat's ass. And it was just like, she just started talking, and quietly observing was the perfect way to describe it, but how I started out. But then it was like, she kept looking at me like, well, aren't you going to say a goddamn thing, or are you just a fucking wallflower? And it was like, I felt like, okay, I might as well talk, because I want to say something, but being respectful to a degree sometimes works out of your favor and makes you look like an arrogant son of a bitch or an ignorant son of a bitch. So if you have something to say, you might as well say it. So I broke out of my fear and I started talking. We actually started talking. It was like 25 minutes of talking, like four of us talking about politics and shit and just about things. And it was like, it was so fun and exhilarating. And no, I don't have any photographs of it, but I have the memories. And like I said, to me, it was like to have that as one of the people that you, as we all that are in the paranormal community, I'll have to say this as a blanket statement. I'd say the gross amount of people in the paranormal community, when you mention Elizabeth Montgomery and Bewitched, they all go, oh, I loved her. For whatever reason, we all have that kind of affection and appreciation for her, because in a sense, when we watched that show, in so many ways, it did break down the monotonous bullshit and rhetoric of ghosts being dangerous and witches and and all that stuff. I mean, when you watched it, you had more of a tongue-in-cheek attitude towards it, and you didn't take it seriously, as you really shouldn't take ghosts in a disarming way, seriously and dangerous. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we all have that affection. So by getting to meet her, it was like when I just can't believe it. It was like when I remember that night clear as a bell to this day, saying, I'll never forget it. It was the funnest night. She was this beautiful. Here's the thing. Juxtaposed to what I just stated about Lindsay Lohan, Elizabeth Montgomery was the pinnacle of class, of warmth, of genuine, heartfelt, just a great person, just a wonderful person of energy, of life, she was just great.
I absolutely believe that.
She was just so genuine and so disarming. I mean, it was just no airs about her. And it was just, you talked to her, you had a sense of a real wonderful person who really cared, who was compassionate, who was funny. Let's just get this straight. She had, as I recall, she had a blue streak in her. There was some remarks, there was some double entendre remarks that were dropped, and she was quick on the draw. She was sharp as a tack. She was
always
funny.
what you least expect, I
don't know. I always expected her to be fun. I didn't know what to expect with her, because she'd been, after you'd seen somebody that was on shows, you start to realize, you meet enough actors and say, God, they're nothing like, the person that they are on TV. Well, no, and then you kind of go, because it's acting. It's a part of them that comes out in that character. And I've had the distinction of meeting Darren and knowing Darren McGavin through my godfather, and Darren, and we all know because of Kolchak and The Night Stalker. It was another one of those shows that it was like you all vicariously lived the experience through the eyes of Kolchak. It's like, what if I was Kolchak? It's like, oh my God, as a kid, y'all did that, but. There was a thing about him. It was like Darren was a salty dog, because Darren used to love to drink, and he was always at my godfather's parties. And Darren used to drink and smoke his fucking Cuban cigars and play cards. And you'd hear Darren when he was drunk, that Darren McGavin voice, that recognizable Darren McGavin voice. You could hear it from across the room, and you knew it was Darren. And it might have been the most voracious ascension of curse words. And let's just say that the closest thing to Darren was in real life, and people are not going to like this, but it's true. The character most close to Darren was the role he played in A Christmas Story. If you guys remember that character from that movie, Darren was 100% more. That was a lot of Darren in that. Not the comic, but Julie, not the stupid shit, but the way that Darren could get upset and could just as famously as Billingsley said, as Peter Billingsley said in the famous quote, "My father could weave a tapestry of obscenity."
Right.
That was Darren when he got pissed off drunk and he was playing and he was at a party. It's going up. I said, I hear Darren. It's like, and I had to go. The first time I heard, I ran across the room to get to see it's Darren. It's like my eyes popped. It's like, oh my God. And I was like 12, 13 years old. I'm going, oh my God, it's Darren. It's called Kolchak. It's like, oh my God. Because Christmas Story hadn't been made yet at that time. And when Christmas Story came out, I used to say, I said, Darren, Christmas Story. And he's like, it's like cursing me out. And I'd laugh. I said, yep.
I remember.
That's what I thought. I said, wasn't much of a stretch, wasn't there? I mean, but but he was a character. But again, it's like, you think about the paranormal, field, and you think about television in the early 60s and the mid 60s and the 70s. And it's like, who the two? It's like McGavin, and of course, Bewitched. I mean, there weren't many shows. I mean, of course, Leonard Nimoy did
In Search of,
of course, which was, was an attempt, because he was fascinated. I would have loved, God, stupid I am. I don't know why. I've lived here 15 years. Leonard died the past few years. I'm an imbecile. I should have reached out to Leonard. And I know that my godfather knew Leonard Nimoy and worked with him and stuff, because my godfather was a manager agent. And son of a bitch. Funny story about my godfather. When I was growing up, he was a big manager agent. He was Richard Dawson's manager. Excuse me while I take a drink of water.
Is it water?
Yeah, that was water.
Okay.
That was water.
What the hell else would it be? That could have been a beer.
Tequila?
But I'm not drinking beer. I'm not much of a drinker, really. But
Never mind.
in any event, so Darren McGavin, my godfather, I'm at his party, and there's Adam West, and this is like the mid 70s. And Adam's there, and I'm like,
himself.
Adam is now this, you got to remember this. Adam is some 10 years out of doing Batman. Adam can't buy a gig. I mean, he can't buy a gig. Adam is not what he is today, which is funny, because you think about the rebounding of Adam West. It's like Donnie Most. It's like, thank God for Family Guy and American Dad,
right?
Because they bring back these guys and give them work that they haven't seen. And now Adam is back in the limelight.
Yeah,
and it's funny because Adam was still blistering the fact that he felt he got pigeonholed because he had done the Batman series back in the 60s.
Hell,
and
he was Batman.
He was Batman. You
That's
can't talk
dad.
about bitch.
That's
That's
your
what it
dad.
was. So one of Leonard's clients and friends, Kenny, who's a singer, comes up as Adam is sitting there at this dining room table eating at this party. And I'll never forget this, because at the same party there was a pot plant that my parents, somebody given to my godfather as a gag joke. And my mother said to my godfather, said, "Oh, what a lovely plant." And somebody walked in and goes, "Do you know what that is?" And they said, "No." He goes, "That's pot." And my mom said, "That's pot." Well, David's got a plant like that growing in the
Nice.
back room.
Awesome.
And then my mother came, but that's not right. So Kenny, the singer, goes up behind Adam and starts going, da 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 da, Batman. Adam gets up and takes a swing at Kenny.
Oh, God.
And Kenny ducks, and Adam misses it. And it's almost like a scene from movies, like going at that, like from the Batman movies. Pow! Oops,
Yeah.
Right?
You would have seen the letters right in the air.
That would have been
Zoink.
amazing.
Oops! Zoink! Zoink!
Damn.
It was so funny. And then Adam tried to chase Kenny around because Adam was so pissed off. And then he finally
Oh my
stopped
God.
and Kenny started laughing. And Kenny said, "I had to do that, Adam. I saw you." And I said, "I haven't said 2 words to you the whole day and night. I had to do that to you." And I was like, "That's okay." Because I'm sorry I reacted like that. But boy, it's still a sore spot. Because it's true. Sometimes you make a career decision and you can't come out of it. I'm talking about acting careers specifically, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Like that guy who played Beaver Cleaver. He got he got one guest spot on Married with Children. And that was
right.
it.
That's it.
Pretty much.
Well, yeah, he did that. He worked in the 50s. That was in the 50s and the early 60s when Jerry Mathers was,
Mm-hmm.
So that is what it is. There's nothing you can do about that. That's at the time you'd say, would you trade it for anything? It's like, no. It's like Johnny Whitaker and look at even better, Leif Garrett. Would you have traded for no? I got that, and that's what I had. That, as Andy Warhol said, is your 15 minutes of fame.
You have
True
some
that.
of the best stories,
True
I
that.
swear.
And what's funny is when we made the movie House at the End of the Drive, Carolyn Steller was our costume designer. Now, you guys wouldn't know Carolyn Steller from Adam. However, Carolyn's son is, in fact, Leif Garrett. And one of the times during the filming, after the filming, one of my friends, Ashton, drove Carolyn home. And she said, "You won't believe this." And I said, "When?" She goes, "I just dropped Carolyn off at her house." I said, "Yeah, so what?" She goes, "Well, she said when she went to the door was answered." She goes, "I looked up the top of the stairs from my car, and I saw, and I could swear it was Leif Garrett." And I said, "What?" And she goes, "Yeah." She goes, "What? She's living with Leif Garrett? The woman's old enough to be his mom." And we found out the next day that in fact, that's her son. And it was like, oh my God. And here's another funny tidbit of serendipity in my movie, which kind of, in my eyes, kind of sucks because we had the opportunity to have the son of the famous Donovan, the music singer from the 60s, Mellow Yellow and what was The Season of the Witch, famously enough. His son, Donovan Leitch Jr., was our number one lead for the movie. I still to this day am cringing because I was told by Sharon saying, "This is the gift, this is the movie that you do this fine." Had I listened to Sharon and stuck my guns and played the lead in my movie would have been released by now, I'm sure, because it would have been a different movie than it turned out. Our second stringer is who we actually went with because Donovan Leitch Jr.'s wife was pregnant, and she was expecting, and she didn't want him to be busy working for the 2 weeks here at home in LA on a movie. And so we ended up getting Donovan. We had this other guy that ended up subbing in for him, and it really kind of sucked because it would have been funny to have Donovan Leitch Jr. Be in the movie and then talk about having his father, trying to get his father to do a song for the movie, because we wanted to use Season of the Witch, and we could have had his father do a re-recording of it possibly. But that all, of course, is what you all say is movie magic mystery. It didn't happen. It's the fate of the gods and the stars. It didn't happen. So such is life.
Such is life. Well, we're going to wind down.
Really? What are you going to do? You going to have yourself a shot of whiskey or what? It's good old Pennsylvania.
Don't know.
Moonshine, huh?
Yeah, moonshine.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for my cousin to send me
have
his
that.
moonshine.
His cousins are moonshiners.
My
I
cousin is a
believe it.
moonshiner, and he was supposed to send me some, and I'm still waiting.
Send you some?
You've been waiting
Why
since
would-
Christmas
I have
time.
been waiting since Christmas.
How do
Maybe
you
they drank
send
it.
the moonshine?
I have no idea how he planned on getting it here, personally.
Usually it's traveled by a truck or a car.
Yeah, right?
You don't send it, especially nowadays.
Yeah, a car with lights on it.
Well, I didn't say bringing 100 gallons in quart jars, I meant some of the guys last night said, yeah, my cousin gave me a still. I said, what? Your cousin gave you a still? Fuh. But I guess you can buy the components on eBay and stuff, seriously, to make one. And I'm sure there's got to be enough YouTube videos on making a small still for yourself if you wanted to.
Yep.
So I'm not surprised that it could be done.
Yeah.
God knows they have enough television shows right now that you can turn in and watch how these guys. And that's the thing I don't understand. How in the flying FU are these guys in your neck of the woods not getting popped? You guys have the video evidence of these guys on national television. I'm a sheriff in those towns. I think I know Billy Bob. I don't have very much to do but put a tracking device on the goddamn son of a bitch's truck when he's asleep at night, and then you follow him via the GPS on my smartphone to track him where the hell his goddamn still is.
I don't think the Billy Bobs, though, are that sophisticated about it.
No idea. Absolutely.
But you know what
no
I'm
idea.
saying? You're breaking the law. They live somewhere. If they are not actors and this is real, as they say, this is for real, then excuse me. I mean, I was an ex-PI for a number of years. I mean, I am an ex-PI now. I was a PI for a number of years. So to me, it's like, why the hell would you put yourself in the position to do something like that where you are incriminating yourself in front of tens of millions of people every freaking time that show airs? And the sheriffs out there could pop you as fast as greased lightning. I don't quite understand how.
It's like setting up your own private email server.
Pretty much,
Well,
it's
it's
like.
either all fake or they've got protection.
You mean they're paying off the counties where they're stilling in?
Yeah.
But that has to say for the feds.
Or they've got some kind of like.
You got the feds. The feds are still popping people for that stuff. That's called alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. That's the ATF.
Oh,
Who was
I'm telling you.
Jacob
how it
the
works.
carpetbagger? We interviewed him, and he was going to interview the famous moonshiner. He was convicted, but he
right.
went and he killed himself, and
Rather than
it
go to
said
jail.
his headstone said "fuck you."
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it at all. That's how some people feel about it. Very, 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 not reactionary, but a very much different point of view where this is what I made and it's mine. And I don't want to share my revenue with the government, so to speak. I mean, that's a sentiment that's been around for over a couple hundred years. Christ, since the beginning of the country, we had
exactly.
Yeah, kind
that. So, it is what it is. It's unfortunate, but I just don't quite understand. How should I say why it is that why it is that things are the way they are. In that regard, he would rather kill himself than go to jail because you probably. Whoa! Did you hear that? That was my dog barking. That was strange. What are you barking at?
The police.
The popo. No, I'm watching the camera. I'm watching the cameras from upstairs. I mean, from the house. And funny, the dog is standing at the top of the staircase, and he's just standing there staring out the window barking. Now, that could be because there could be animals across the canyon or something like that. I'm going to, as a matter of fact, go and investigate since I got all these cameras around my house, and I can just sit in my bedroom or my office and look around inside, outside, throughout every room in the house and see what the hell's going on.
From your nice little command center there.
You bet your ass.
Right on.
It's interesting. I don't see what is it that you're barking at, boy?
Nobody sneaks up
Oh,
on the
there's nothing
Ominator.
up. Well, he sees deer. There's always deer running across the mountain across
in the house, and sometimes there are tourists that are literally parked their cars there, and the dogs, smart as they are, they see people across the canyon staring at them, they start barking at them.
I was wondering,
Dogs, man.
as far as
Yes.
strange people are concerned, were you ever afraid that Manson would get out and he might return to the scene of the crime? Just a thought.
And what exactly, pray tell, was he going to do with me?
Gun
I
you
just
to
want
death,
to
I
follow
guess.
that up. So Charlie's going to come visit me.
He's got a posse
because-
still somewhere.
Oh, but we know he's got a posse. That's without a freaking shadow of a doubt. I know that. You know, family isn't dismembered or dismembered. It's still quite around. They're still around here taking their stuff, doing their things. But look, on the anniversary of the murders a few years ago, we had some people over here, and sure enough, during the daytime, there was that night there was a car that drove up, and let's just say they were unscrupulous-looking characters that looked like they could have walked, that they could have been friends of them family members present day. And some of the people said, "Did you see those two guys?" I said, "Yeah," because they looked pretty sketchy, didn't they? It's like, yeah, they look like they're in their 60s. They had greasy matted hair. They look like they had beards and overgrown. They could have been right out of Charlie's Crew. It's like, yeah, they could have been. So yes, I don't worry about what? About them coming to visit. I've had people that are fans of Charlie's come up here. What's his face? Van Houten. What's his name? I forgot his name. Van Houten had been here during the anniversary. What's his name?
I don't know.
Oh, you don't know? Something Van Houten. By the way, the figurines, since we've been on the radio now, let's see, starting at 4:24. No. At 4:10. So in 1 hour, 2 figurines got knocked over.
Oh, yeah, that reminds me. I'm going to link up the episode. There's a YouTube video you have where one just like pops.
Yeah.
It looks like a firecracker going off.
Yeah, I got a bunch of videos. To send them to the YouTube channel. By the way,
yeah,
to go to the investigation, to come here in 3 weeks on the 24th of June, if you want to, it's a 6-hour investigation, and I guarantee you, it'll be like no other investigation you've ever been on. And I mean, to the point where you guys have been in paranormal investigations, I assume, right?
Mm-hmm.
Once or twice.
And you know the ones you pay for, you get in there, you pay $150 to go to some hotel, and you're starving in the middle of it. It's like, where can I get something? Oh, we have a little table set up with some crackers and cheese, and we have Coca-Cola and 7-Up and some Oreo cookies and some Nutter Butters, and those are $3. And the Coca-Colas are $3, and if you have peanuts, it's like, oh, that's terrific. I'm going to go far on this at 3 in the frickin' morning. No, I charged $100 for 6 hours. I put out a full spread, a smorgasbord of food, where you have hummus and pita bread, you have a vegetable platter, you have 3 different types of salsa, you have guacamole, you have chips. You have a platter of cookies. You have turkey meatballs, and then you have Italian meatballs. What else do I usually have?
It sounds like a hell of a spread.
And of course, then you have drinks. You have bottled water, not Perrier, Sparklets. Then you have sodas and orange juice and stuff all throughout the entire night. Because I figure if you're going to get here, it's about 8:00 at night, and you're going to start trekking through the house. I don't want you to head up to the kitchen and raid the refrigerator because there's nothing in it anyways. Yeah. And then getting pissed off and raiding the cupboards and eating the cookies and the raisins and the dried apricots and all that stuff, and then having to run to the bathroom because you ate too much fiber while you were here.
They're going to steal from you like Lindsay.
Exactly.
Not only you get a full catered spread.
Yeah.
And how the hell do you beat that? Well, how do you beat that? You can't.
And like I said, the place that the people, I want to see Sharon Tate, it's like, well, you're going to experience what you're going to experience. And if one of your relatives or friends who's passed away should pop in, be happy that somebody popped in. Because the likelihood of you meeting Sharon Tate here is 0 to 1. Because if you didn't have a connection with somebody that's dead, why are they going to come back and visit? To see you? Because you're their biggest fan? Your relative or friend that's passed away is most likely who's going to come to you because the house is an active portal. It's a vortex. it's in a sense, it's a sense of entertainment. When you go to the Winchester Mansion to spend the night, they charge you an arm and a leg. When you want to go to the Queen Mary, they charge you an arm and a leg. When you go to Nick Groff's events, they charge you 3 times the amount that we're talking about for three times where we charge you 1/3 the amount and for 3 times the time.
Yeah.
I mean, and let's be honest here. This is a place that has been on 6 different paranormal reality shows that you all know about, and you guys want to go check out. It's not like it's I don't live here. I do live here.
You do
I
live
really
here.
do.
This is your home.
This is my home.
People
I mean,
come to your home as guests.
You think?
You would think. You'd hope. Remember, if you go to the
I
Oman
would
House,
think that most people would, though.
remember, if you go to the Oman House, you're going there. You are his guest.
I try. I fail.
He's
a lot.
your host. Be respectful.
Well, be respectful to the spirits as well, because we know that Nameless certainly wasn't. And
I
when
knew he was coming up again.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's coming up again. He got his ass shit on.
He got attacked
So-
in Gettysburg, I believe, one time.
Well, I know one thing's for sure. He never wants to come back here again because he's too scared. That's what he said.
That's hilarious.
Wow.
So, and he calls me possessed. And I was like,
Jeez.
yeah, now funny thing is
You're
that
many things, but not possessed.
No, yeah, many things and not. He's not who's possessed, and he's whatchamacallit. He's now the one getting possessed every episode. Yet he wrote it up in his book. I am haunted. I am full of shit. He could have said as well, more applicable. But to be able to say that, and then to say that now he's getting possessed on every episode, wow, there's something wrong with that. I should be blessed that he says that I am possessed. But I don't recall being possessed.
Since we are winding down, it's time to remind everybody. Sorry, something is in
Throat
the air.
strike?
A little bit. That all of our episodes are hosted at www.unnormalparanormal.com. You can follow us on Twitter at UnnormalPara. You can follow us on Facebook at the Unnormal Paranormal community page. If you have any questions, comments, stories, etc., don't you dare, Jeff.
It's just a rocket flare. It really
It's
is. It really is a rocket flare.
He's not kidding.
I believe it.
Ships at
Hold
sea.
on, I'll take a picture of it in a second here. If you have any questions, comments, stories of your own that you want to share with us, we answer stories. We answer questions. We'll post your stories, etc., etc. Contact us at unnormalparanormal@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
And ta-da, that's been it.
Hey, they can also go to the omanhouse.com for
Absolutely.
the event tickets. That's right, TheOman House HOUSC.com. And they can also go to whatchamacallit to youtube.com
Right.
/
We'll
the Oman House.
We'll link
put
your
everything there.
Yeah, we'll get
Everything's
your
going up.
YouTube, your Twitter,
My underwear.
your underwear
For sale.
for sale, used, cheap.
How do we get in touch
It's
with Winona?
$1,000.
How do we get in touch with Winona Ryder?
Well,
I don't know. I mean, like, I
It's
would
imperative.
presume that her Facebook page, her Twitter, and stuff like that are probably handled by an agent or something.
Oh, great.
I don't like agents.
Let's forward a copy of this
I don't like
episode
press
to
agents.
Winona.
yeah, find her. I'm looking right now on whatchamacallit. I can't find her on Twitter either.
I'll tell you what, Dave. If you get in touch with Winona Ryder, let me know.
If I get in touch with yes, if I do, yeah, that's a good idea.
Because you're the man out there.
Is that it? Okay.
Well,
Well, yes, I'm
You're a
well.
contact.
yes.
You're a contact.
Credit where it's due.
Yeah, you know, I'm going to have to look into that and see who the hell I know that knows her. Got to be somebody. Got to be.
It's a small world.
Yeah.
It's getting smaller every day.
Yeah, that's kind of scary. Listen, where I live, it is very scary.
I believe that.
Yeah. Say, are you near Urupa Valley, California?
No,
Okay.
I think that's north.
Okay.
Why?
That's where Lindy Baker's from. She's one of our guests. She does comedy and she's a
She
psychic.
does comedy.
Yeah.
She does
She's
comedy.
well, not professionally. She's there on the
I
on the
love-
amateur nights, but she knows the famous comics.
I'd have to hear this for myself.
All right.
We know Rhonda has evidently
She's
been
going to give it a
advised.
shot.
Oh, she's actually going to do it.
I think so.
Oh, wow. Ladies and gentlemen, Rhonda Fells is going to break into stand-up comedy.
Good
Tell
for
the
her.
midgets.
We
Tell the
love
midget
Rhonda.
story. Yes, we love Rhonda.
She would absolutely love the hell out of you, man.
Mm-hmm.
All your wonderful, amazing stories.
So
I
that
mean,
bodes
like-
well for a third episode sometime.
Oh, hell yeah. We'll have Dave back on sometime.
Do a video episode out here and write it off at their expenses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not?
Did you see the video from last night on Facebook?
No, I did not.
Go look at my page. There's a couple of videos from Facebook from last night that they posted.
I'll have a look at them.
They are quite amusing.
Well, that's because you're an entertaining guy. You've got charisma.
I got something. I don't know if it's curable, though. That's what counts. Can you cure it or not? That's what really counts. There's
Some
no
people-
cure for stupid.
I wonder about some people.
Like I said, there's no cure for stupid.
No, there's not. No, there's not.
Nope. Just
Maybe
gotta
someday.
contain it, but that's about it.
Some days you can't contain it.
Yeah, exactly. Some days you just
What?
can't contain it.
Ladies and gentlemen, that has been our show for the day. As always, it's been a pleasure having you on, Dave.
Yeah, thanks, Dave.
I'm about to
Fun
take
episode.
your post. I'm taking your reply. I'm going to post it because hey, whoever knows Winona Ryder, whoever knows.
He's doing it.
He's doing it.
Oh, he's
I'm
awesome.
doing it.
You're
I'm just
awesome,
saying
Dave.
right now, Ryder. This is on your tweet. Please, I'm just say, please have her get in touch. Please have her get in touch. You know who else was? Joe Rogan. I was in touch with on Twitter. I invited his ass out here to see the house. God, I'm a big skeptic. Joe Rogan never came to the house. I think that he heard too much from Zach Baggins.
Oh, goodness. That guy.
I'd love to have Joe come and check out the house. I
Joe
think
is a
it'd be
lot
cool.
of fun. You two would get along great.
Oh yeah. That'd be funny as hell. Get his ass. Somebody get in touch with Joe again. Say, Joe, get over to
You never know who you will or won't get along with.
Yeah, this is true. I have a pretty good idea who I don't give a shit to get along with.
I
but
understand that.
you know, that's a different story and another story for some other time.
But like I said, man, it's been a treat. It is always a treasure having you on.
The feelings mutual, boys. It's a pleasure to be on and to talk to you guys.
It's a lot
been
of fun,
pleasure
Dave.
But we're going to let you go and we're going to wrap up for the night.
All right, boys. Take care of yourselves and
Yep,
give
you
me
too,
a call
man.
sometime in the future. It's a pleasure as well as always.
You got it, Dave.
Yep. Try to have a good night, man.
Take care.
Thanks for coming.
Do the same. Have a good one.
You
Good
too.
night. Bye.
Bye.
And that's a wrap. We thank David Oman of the Oman House for coming on and being David Oman. He has his opinions and values, and if you ask him to explain, pull up a chair and prepare to get Omanized. For all information on Dave, especially his upcoming ghost investigation and tour at the Oman House, go to our website at unnormalparanormal.com and click on the links for this episode. Stay with us in the weeks ahead for vampires and unaccounted disappearances. And so, until next time, good night.